Since November, Sioux City has had a homeless task force. It's made up of a group of people who are working to address homelessness and issues it causes in the metro area. Now, to give you an idea of how many people are homeless, Sioux City's Neighborhood Services Department runs a program called Coordinated Entry. So they particularly focus here in Sioux City in the metro area. Staff do an assessment and determine what program would best benefit the person or family. From January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, 1,054 people from Sioux City were added to the list waiting for housing. When someone is added to the coordinated entry list, they're asked where their last location of permanent residence was. Now, this graphic shows the zip codes. The highest population comes from the downtown area. Now, that's followed by the west side, midtown, north side, and then the Morningside area of Sioux City. Each zip code has at least one person represented on the list looking for housing. And tonight, we're diving into the impact of the Homeless Assistance Response Team, also known as HART. KTV's Taylor Deckert saw what the force does in a single day. She was able to go along with the officers on the team addressing this population.
The goal is to offer resources, services, and support, doing what they can to help these individuals in the community. This started with Sioux City Police, along with neighborhood services through the City of Sioux City, Parks and Rec, and the Mobile Crisis Assessment Team. To this day, it continues to grow as they are finding more organizations who can offer resources for the unhoused population in Sioux City. For Officers Sassman and Albrecht, outreach is their full-time role.
We are the ones out on the street talking to people all the time, every day. It was important for us to be able to connect these, the homeless people or unsheltered people with the resources that they didn't know were out there.
Wednesday afternoon, they went about their day visiting spots where the unhoused population spends time to see how they can help, who they can call, and what they need.
So it's nice to be doing something where you actually get to see that, yeah, you are helping somebody.
They're often the first touch point for any kind of help. HART works with over 30 organizations in the community to try to find the right resources for their unique situations.
It feels like we can get things done a lot quicker than other people would if they didn't have a police officer with them.
The goal is to find long-term solutions, but not every person they come into contact wants the help. Chief Mueller says they've reported barriers, including affordable housing, encampments, people not wanting service, and chronic trespassing. This group has identified about 20 repeat offenders who have caused trouble for the public, but they're keeping an eye on them.
The goal of that is to either correct the behavior that is going on, like I'm going to keep getting arrested if I keep doing this, so I'm going to stop doing this, or I'm just going to leave Sioux City because they have a zero tolerance for what I continue to do.
Officer Sassman says about 90% of the unhoused population have mental health issues.
I think getting help for those is a large barrier for them.
There's unfortunately, when it comes to those with mental illness, there's only so much that we can do to help manage that in the homeless system.
Each week, this group is chipping away at overall issues, but it comes down to treating it one task at a time.
Homelessness is not a crime, and we didn't want that stigma put on it.
Now, that was Taylor Deckert reporting, and this idea of officers being involved in the outreach is done in other communities as well. They say Council Bluffs has a similar homeless outreach program with 7 full-time officers on the job. As HART continues to grow, they want to work with more organizations that are able to help. See a more in-depth story into the role of HART right now on KTIV.com or on the News 4 app for your smartphone.